The night sky over the mining world of Orleans 9 was a swirl of lightning and frozen dust. Ronan Vale stood outside his outpost, the wind tearing at his coat, the sound of machines humming weakly behind him. His scanner blinked red again. Something large was moving across the ice fields. He frowned and tapped the device, thinking it was a glitch. But then the ground shook. The storm howled louder, carrying a sound unlike anything he had ever heard, a deep, broken roar that trembled through his bones. Ronan's first instinct was to retreat indoors, but curiosity kept him there. He raised his light rifle and walked toward the sound. Through the storm, he saw movement, a figure collapsing in the snow, wings spread wide before folding in defeat. When he reached it, he froze. It was a dragon. Her scales shimmered like cracked glass, blue with streaks of silver ice. Steam rose from her body, and one wing hung torn, bleeding faintly onto the ice. Her eyes flickered open, sharp, bright violet, and locked onto his. "Human," she whispered, her voice trembling like the storm. "Help me, please." Ronan stared, stunned. Dragons were myths now, extinct after the last interstellar war. To see one alive was impossible. His mind raced. If the company found out he had contact with one, they'd send hunters. Dragons were considered dangerous biological weapons, not living beings. He should have walked away. But when she tried to lift her head and failed, something inside him refused to let her die. He dropped to his knees and pressed his hand to her scales. They were freezing, almost brittle. "Don't move," he said softly. "You'll break apart if you keep struggling." The dragon's breathing slowed. "They shot us down," she murmured. "My kin, gone." Ronan didn't know who they were, humans, aliens, or someone worse, but the pain in her voice was real. He pulled a heat blanket from his pack and draped it over her neck. The material hissed as it made contact, steaming where it met the frost. She shivered. "You risk much, helping me." He almost laughed. "I'm already half dead in this frozen hole. Saving you can't make it worse." The storm grew fiercer, pushing him back toward the outpost. He looked at her wing again. It was too damaged for her to move on her own. "Can you stand?" he asked. She tried and stumbled, a low growl escaping her throat. "Name," she managed to say. "I am Kaelen." "Ronan," he replied. "Now come on, Kaelen. If we stay here, we both die." He used the exosuit's support cables to wrap around her torso, activating the lift function. With painful effort, they made it back to the outpost. The heavy doors sealed behind them, blocking out the storm. Ronan collapsed to the floor, chest heaving, as the dragon curled in the corner, her breath fogging the air. Inside the small space, the air smelled of metal and frost. Kaelen's eyes dimmed as exhaustion took her. Ronan crouched beside her and started the med unit. He didn't know how to treat a dragon, but warmth was life on Orleans 9. That was universal. Hours passed. When he finally dozed off, the storm had quieted, and for the first time in years, the outpost felt alive. When Ronan woke, Kaelen was watching him. Her eyes glowed softly in the dim light. "You stayed," she said quietly. He rubbed his face. "Couldn't exactly leave you lying in the snow." "Humans do not help dragons," she said. "Not anymore." Ronan looked away. "Maybe this human does." A faint, almost invisible smile crossed her face, a rare expression on something so powerful. "Then perhaps I chose the right one to find me." He didn't answer, but something in his chest stirred, an emotion he hadn't felt since before the war. Hope. By morning, Kaelen had regained some strength. Ronan worked on repairing her damaged wing using alloy supports from his mining equipment. She watched him closely, curious about his steady focus. "You fix machines," she said, her voice softer now. "You think I am one?" He smirked. "Machines don't bleed." But you're both made of metal and miracles, so it's close enough. She tilted her head, amused by his tone. You joke to hide fear. Maybe, he said simply. You're a 15-foot fire-breathing myth. I'd say fear is reasonable. Her laugh was a low rumble, echoing through the metal walls. Then you are braver than most. Over the next few days, they developed an uneasy rhythm. Ronan fixed her injuries, and Kaelen told stories of her people, the Drakari, ancient guardians who once kept balance between worlds before they were hunted to near extinction. She spoke of their belief in the bond between souls, that once a dragon trusted a human, their spirits became one flame. Ronan didn't know if he believed in souls, but he felt something between them. A strange, quiet connection. One evening, a distress signal flickered on his monitor. A human patrol ship was entering Orleans 9's orbit. Ronan's heart dropped. If they found Kaelen, they'd kill her and arrest him for treason. He rushed to the control panel. They're scanning for energy signatures, he said. We need to hide you. Kaelen rose slowly, pain visible in her movements. If they find me, you will be punished. I will leave. He shook his head. You can barely walk. You won't last an hour out there. I will not bring death to your door. He grabbed her clawed hand, surprising even himself. You already brought life to it. For a moment, she stared at him, eyes wide with emotion. Then she nodded. Then we fight together. Ronan quickly powered down the main systems, plunging the base into darkness. Kaelen crouched low, her body glowing faintly in the dark as she suppressed her fire. The patrol ship's searchlights swept across the outpost, scanning the frozen plains. The silence was suffocating. After long minutes, the ship's engines faded into the distance. Ronan exhaled shakily. They're gone. Kaelen's body relaxed, the faint heat returning to her scales. You risked your life again, human. He smiled faintly. I'm starting to make a habit of it. When he turned away, she looked at him with something new in her eyes, not just gratitude, but admiration. In that frozen world, two broken souls had found warmth not from fire, but from trust. A week later, Kaelen was strong enough to fly again. Her wings glistened like molten ice beneath the pale sun. Ronan stood beside her on the landing platform, the wind tugging at his coat. You're really leaving, he said quietly. I must find the others, she replied. There may be survivors of my kind. But I will not forget the human who saved me. He smiled faintly. And I'll try not to get arrested for hiding a dragon. She lowered her head, bringing her massive eyes level with his. You gave me life, Ronan Vale. When I return, it will be to repay that gift. Before he could answer, a thunderous sound echoed across the sky, a dark ship descending rapidly. Not the patrol this time, but something worse. A Dravakian war cruiser, alien hunters known for killing both dragons and humans alike. Kaelen spread her wings. They followed my trail. Ronan drew his blaster. Then let's give them a welcome. The battle that followed was chaos. Plasma fire tore through the ice, and Kaelen unleashed a torrent of blue flame that split the storm apart. Ronan fought beside her, his rifle burning through alien armor. For the first time, human and dragon fought not against each other, but together. When the smoke cleared, the cruiser lay broken in the distance. Kaelen was wounded but standing. Ronan's shoulder bled, but he smiled. You fight like a god, he said. She laughed weakly. And you, like a fool. But a brave one. She lowered her wing. Come with me. The stars need hearts like yours. Ronan hesitated, then climbed onto her back. As they lifted into the cold dawn, the frozen world of Orleans 9 fell away beneath them. Fire met ice, and for the first time in centuries, hope rose with them.